Dolphins face extinction threat as European Union's fleet of hundreds of thousands ravaged stocks. This is because of the bycatch, and of course, this is unsustainable. They don't only catch dolphins, they catch seals, they catch orcas, and a lot of other big sea creatures, and they're in the verge of extinction. Dolphins are being threatened by unsustainable levels of bycatch from fisheries, with the EU's 100,000 strong fleet employing both inadequate monitoring and objectives. Bycatch is a name given to the fishing industry to fish or other marine life that are caught accidentally while going after a specific species, a sex or size of animal, because bycatch can result in the accidental death of the unwanted creatures. It's one of the ways that human fishing can threaten both protected and endangered species, and these can include such forms as marine life, dolphins, seals, sharks, rays, turtles, and orcas we saw, as I said before. Now, marine biologist Dr. Simon Allen of the University of Bristol said, bycatch and discarding of marine wildlife in commercial fisheries are major challenges for biodiversity conservation and fisheries management the world over. It's not just in the European Union. In their studies, Dr. Allen and his colleagues set out to evaluate the performance of measures designed to reduce bycatch implemented by a trawl fishery in Australia. How are they going to do that? The nets are the holes in the nets are so small that they catch everything. Now, especially for example, shrimp trawlers. They use a new method that have devised to assess at what levels accidental fishing-related wildlife mortality could be considered sustainable in the long run. Their research focused on dolphins, of which 5 of the 41 species are already considered endangered. Dr. Allen said bycatch reduction devices were placed in Western Australia trawl nets in 2006, but no quantitative assessment of the impact was carried out. He said, we set out to model different levels of dolphin capture, including those reported in skippers' logbooks and those by independent observers. And unfortunately, our results show clearly that even the lowest reported annual dolphin capture rates are not sustainable. Paper author and evolutionary ecologist Professor Oliver Manlick of the United Arab Emirates University said, we introduce a novel approach to assessing human-caused mortality to wildlife that can be applied to fisheries bycatch, hunting, lethal control measures, or wind turbine collisions. And when we incorporate stochastic factors, random events, we show that previous methods of assessing wildlife mortality were not conservative enough. This raises concerns for the dolphin population and highlights a problem with other assessments that do not account for random events like heat waves. And he said, these environmental fluctuations are becoming more frequent and intense with climate change. Fisheries in Australia are likely not the only ones failing to address bycatch and threatening to make endangered species extinct. This is happening, of course, worldwide, as we know. Both the EU, whose domestic and deep-sea fishing fleets total nearly 100,000 vessels, and the UK employ only voluntary or low levels of fisheries monitoring and have no quantitative conservation objectives. In other words, they don't have these methods and they don't care. Unless it's made mandatory, they won't. Now, given this, Dr. Allen said the EU and the UK are failing to meaningfully address the bycatch problem. The team said greater transparency and the application of more rigorous methods would improve the scientific basis for decision-making around impacts of fisheries on target species like dolphins, whales, seals, and seabirds. Among the researchers was evolutionary biologist Dr. Robert Lacey of the Species Conservation Toolkit Initiative. The program, which is a collaboration between conservation planning and specialist group, the Chicago Zoological Society, and the Smithsonian Conservation Biology Institute, is working to promote and develop the global availability of effective tools for species risk assessment, conservation action, and population management. And the team are planning to make their new method for assessing the impacts of fishing, which they have dubbed sustainable anthropogenic mortality, in stochastic environment, SAMSI for short, easily available to both researchers and wildlife managers worldwide. And the full findings of the study were published in the journal Conservation Biology. This is terrible. This is by Ian Randall on Express UK. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.